To mark the start of race week for the 2019 24-hour of Le Mans race, in this week's brand new episode of Hill Climb Monsters in Project Cars 2, we're taking a trip down memory lane as the brutally fast Sauber Mercedes C9 takes on our Azure Coast hill climb course. But has this former champ still got it? Let's go find out. What's going on, guys? My name is Martinio and welcome back to Project Cars 2 and a brand new episode of Hill Climb Monsters. And this week's challenger, as you can see on screen and as you've already seen, is this, the Sauber Mercedes C9, or the Sauber C9 Mercedes, whichever way you want to say it. And the reason we're doing this car this week, of course, it is the start of race week for the 24-hour of Le Mans, which I'm really looking forward to. And also, we've only done one Group C car before, and it's one of my favourite classes of all time, not just for sports cars but in general racing all over. So yeah, that's the reason we're doing this car this week. I mean, there's a lot of options in Project Cars for the Group C ones, but I've got my eye on this one because it just sounds amazing. So that's the reason we're going for this car this week. But let's kick the episode off as we always do by taking a look at some of the stats. So fairly impressive all around, as you would imagine. So produced in 1989, it falls into the Group C category, of course. It's rear wheel drive. It's got a 5-speed transmission bolted to a twin turbo V8 producing 720 brake horsepower. The weight is coming in at just under 2,000 pounds. 0 to 60 comes up in under 2.8 seconds, so that's rapid. That is absolutely amazing. The top speed is 254 miles an hour, providing you've got a stretch of road long enough. There are no ABS, traction control, stability control, none of that nonsense. Control difficulty and cornering speed are both set at 3 there. So yeah, so we've got the number 63 car here. This is the car that won not only the 24-hour of Le Mans in 1989, but also won the World Sports Car Championship for that year, and this won all but one race in 89. And I think to begin with, the C9 had a few teething problems. It was just a little bit unreliable, and they were just, you know, they couldn't quite get it in the window. But then I think they bolted the what would have then been the new M11.9 engine to it, which I think is just roughly the same engine that eventually found its way into the CLK-LM about 10 years later. So yeah, and then it just blitzed everyone. It really did. And it was Jean-Marie Schlesser, I think it is, who won the World Sports Car Championship, and it was him and two of his teammates who won the Le Mans 24-hour for that year. So yeah, and you can see why with the stats like this. But there are actually two versions in the game, and we're going for the regular version rather than the LM version. And the differences between the two, I'm checking it here. Stats wise, it's all exactly the same. It's just the LM version has revised front and rear wings, and I don't know, just flicking between the pictures, I'm not going to do, you can't see it on screen, but I don't know, maybe the wheelbase is a little bit longer for the LM version. So yeah, if you know that, then let me know in the comments, guys, of course. But yeah, so they're near enough identical, but we want one with high downforce, just given the nature of the actual course, the Azure Coast, of course. So there we go. In terms of practice and setup, well, the setup was I don't know who sets these cars up, because I started with a stable setup. I went for a run, and the time was okay, but it was very tricky to drive. And then I looked and I tried to figure out, and obviously I went to the setup to look why. 0 front downforce, the wing was set to 0 at the front and 10 at the rear, which is way too much. I eventually came down to 7 and 2 back to front. And yeah, I mean, the engine braking was way too high. Someone gave me a tip in a video a little while ago, and so eventually, I think it was like 6 or 7, and I went all the way down to 1, and that worked a treat. I also messed around with the gear ratios as well, or I tried to mess around with it, but it needs another one in between the one I'm on for this run and the one I could be on, the lower one, because there's still a little bit more speed to get out of it down the Happy Highway, and with the other one I'm topping out just after the hump, basically. So there we go. Other things I mentioned, or other things I did, play around with the transmission, you know, the differential and all that, just to sort of try and smooth the power delivery ever so slightly. The braking, it's also, you can mess around with the weight bias as well, front to back. So I tried to have a play around with that, see if I can bleed some extra performance out of the thing by messing around with that. But overall, it was fairly simple to set up. There wasn't a lot of stuff to sort of unlock. The braking was fairly straightforward. You just have to lower the brake pressure and you know, adjust the biases and so on and so forth. But yeah, once I got into that sweet spot, it really went. It absolutely did. But as you would imagine, from me in a very high-powered car, there were a few accidents along the way. So this first one, coming down to the magic roundabout, everybody's favourite accident black spot, and yeah, just you took a bit too much curb maybe coming down into that, because you turned right. if you flick it left, you can get through it pretty much almost flat out, even taking the bump on the inside. But I just missed that sort of that left little jolt of steering input, and that's what happened there. And then this next one, heading through Ice Cream Cove. As you can see, we're missing a wheel. I'll get into that in a moment, but yeah, just get a little bit out of shape at the rear. We clatter into that bin, and that ruins the front end. And probably would have taken the wheel off, but the thing with the replays around the Azure Coast is if you knock a wheel off and you watch the replay, every subsequent replay after that, unless you exit it and go back in, the wheel will be missing. So there we go. So it was already missing, but that accident did take it off proper as well. So there we go. But let's take a look at the leaderboards now. So the current best time on the board is a 5:35.552 from our friend Chris Jones, or Essa Racing. He's got 2 times in the top 3. Cheeky git. So yeah, and the fastest Group C car is in second place. It's the Nissan GTP ZX Turbo with a 5:36.745. So yeah, and if you want to find the fastest Sauber Mercedes time, you have to go all the way down to page number 5 in position 50 with a 6:42.232 there. So plenty for us to aim for. And in terms of our leaderboards, the Hill Climb Monsters leaderboards, I think there's only one thing it should be aiming for, and that is the Jaguar XJR 9LM from way back. That was January of last year. I did that with my nephew, actually. He picked the car, and 6:26.467. So yeah, I mean, if I can beat that, that'd be good. But if I can get it on the first page time-wise, that'll be good as well. So we need to if we're going to get it onto the first page, it's got to be under 6 minutes. So we're going to try and do that. So yeah, plenty of targets to aim for. I don't think it's going to trouble the top times on the board, but you never know. I think if we can get it around to the top 5, I think, or into the top the top 4 or top 5 there with a a time under the 6 minute mark, that'll be really good there. So there we go. So yeah, but no more talking from me for now anyway. We're going to head over to the track now, and we're going to see how the Sauber Mercedes C9 got on its best run. Here we go then, guys. Sauber Mercedes C9 on our Azure Coast hill climb course, and down towards the first corner we're going to get to nearly 165 miles an hour. Absolutely planted through the apex. Get on the power again through the centre S's. 170 before we get into 5th gear, and then we're going to dip it down into 2nd for cruise liner corner. A little bit of a lock on the right hand side there, but it's nice wide exit so we don't have too much drama, and then don't quite get it right. Maybe turned it a little bit too early for trash can corner, but down the hill we go towards the magic roundabout. We're going to get to over 170 miles an hour, nearly 180, and over the bump at 135 miles an hour. This thing is absolutely on it. It's brutal. Get it down again to 2nd gear for stickman squats now. Be very gentle through here. There's a little bump that can really unsettle the car, and then up the hill again. A little bit of a slide. We've got that near enough perfect there, and on the power again, down the happy highway, and a chance for a little bit of a breather because it's been an absolutely breathless start to this first first part of the run. And we're going to get ourselves all the way up to 210 miles an hour down here. We don't have to lift going over the crest. It's got a lot of downforce, this thing. And as we come through traffic cone corner, 190 miles an hour, near it makes no difference. Just a little lift back on the power again, and then over this crest, little lift at the front, and there we go through there, down towards Stonewall corner now. And again, just being very gentle, getting to 3rd gear, just so you can get the nose in, keep nice and tight to that wall without hitting it. And then down towards understeer corner, and again down to the 2nd gear, trying to clip that grass on the inside. But again, back on the power, you'd have to be a little bit gentle because it's turbocharged. It can just spit its boost out right in your face, and you'll be blind, and you'll be spinning around, and you'll be dead potentially. Down to 2nd gear through here, then get the nose in, get on the power nice and early, just absolutely on it. This thing is so good through here. Again, keep it in 3rd, just being very gentle on the throttle, get down to the 2nd gear. Don't quite get this one, maybe just turn in early enough. And then as we come down towards the slowest corner on the course, James May corner, named after Captain Slow, of course. And again through here, just have to be again gentle because you don't really want to be in 1st gear with this thing. It's very difficult to get the power down, but we make it through there okay. And down towards the back end, or the end now, of sector number 1, and down the hill, and then up again, get it down to 3rd gear, find your line. Got to be gentle and careful through here because you do get airborne a little bit, and you can't turn while you're in mid-air. But through McDanger curve, and now onto outrun, get into 5th gear, and just absolutely planted through here as well. no hint of a lift. It is just absolutely incredible. This car is absolutely staggering. Without doubt, one of my favourites. Down into 4th gear, get it through Fraggle Rock corner, out the other side. And again, we're on the power again, giving it the full beans, up into 5th gear. And coming down towards Bridge corner now. Get it down to 2nd, get that nose in nice and early. And again, back on the power. Maybe just tagged ever so slightly one of those bollards on the the right hand side, sorry. But now into the Mongo McRae Hill complex. And again, through here it was pretty good. You do have to be a little bit careful. You've got to get yourself nice and settled on the wheel. Get it nice and straightened up before you hit those jumps, because I did have a few moments where I just maybe got, maybe I was ever so slightly turning left, and you end up in a wall basically, because as soon as you hit the ground you're turning and you can't really catch it. But coming down into here, your big lock up through here, and we managed to address it, just sort of a bit of a late turning, but we managed to hook it round and just about catch the sort of a late apex for that one. And again, back on the power, down the camel straight now, over the first hump, and then over the second one. Ooh, big nose down moment at that point, down to 3rd gear, through the first and the Mirage corners, and then into the second one, get it to 2nd gear, catch that grass on the left-hand side, and then on the power again. Just be a little bit gentle over this part, because you can spin those rears up, and down the pogo stick straight now, up and down we go. And again, getting on the brakes, down into 2nd gear, trying to catch that grass. We don't quite do it that time, and again, you just got to be a little bit gentle through this point, because as soon as you come over that slight crest, and this one as well, you can really unsettle the car, and you can have a big accident with those walls being so close to the course there. And over these bumps here, and down towards the tunnel and what will be the Great Ocean Highway. Very small lift there, back on the power again. This thing is absolutely planted. Down into 3rd gear, get the nose in nice and early, use the camber of the course just to drag the car around, and back on the beans again. This thing, I keep saying it, it's absolutely amazing. Without that, one of my favourite cars on this series that I've driven, because it is just so good, and the way it gathers speed is just absolutely brutal. It's incredible. Coming through the tunnel now, onto the viaduct straight, and down the hill now. Again, just a little lift there, and then you're going to get it down to 3rd gear, just so again you can get that nose in, and then get on the power nice and early. Coming down to Deception now, into 4th gear. It's a little bit gentle, because we know that corner can catch you out. It's a very sort of the exit sort of comes back towards you from seeming very, very open. But now onto sweeps now. Through here, very, very good. Just finding those apexes, just absolutely nailing them every single time. This thing is an absolute apex monster. And down through here and onto the back end of the run now, the rocky road as we call it. Don't quite get where I want it there, but we're going to come through here, and again don't quite get it where I want it, so we're sort of chasing the car a little bit. You're going to see through here we're going to tag the wall ever so slightly, but because ourselves a little bit of time having to get out the throttle. But now we come through the tunnels now, and again absolutely flat out, foot planted to the floor, 175 miles an hour before we have to dip on the brakes and get into 3rd gear for this final corner. Again, being gentle, get the power on, then give it the full beans, and across the line in a time of 5 minutes 49.914. So we've hit that target of going under 6 minutes, but more so, we've gone under a 5:50. That time with that car is absolutely immense. It's incredible. It really is. But as good as that time was, unfortunately, it wouldn't have hit the first page of the leaderboard. We would have missed out by about, what, 3/10 of a second, maybe 3-4 of a second. It would have been top of the second page though by a good 4 seconds. Nearest makes no difference either side. But in terms of our Hill Climb Monsters leaderboard, it goes second. And I mean, you look at the company that's around it. You've got it's what, 8 seconds or so, 8-9 seconds or so slower than the Toyota TS050. It's faster than the IndyCar. The BMW V12 LMR from 99, 10 years younger, and it's nearly 20 seconds faster. This car is immense. It's absolutely incredible. And I mean, the other target to beat, I mean, apologies for all the numbers being wonky on the side. I forgot to do that part. But down there at what would have been 9th position, or at 8th it says there, the 88 Jaguar XJR 9LM. It's faster by about 25 seconds, 25-26 seconds. So this car is absolutely incredible. I honestly was not expecting it to be this good. It's just mind-blowing how good this car is. We did have a few little boo-boos here and there. So I think it could have got onto that first page. We could have definitely found 3 attempts. There's still a bit of time left in it, but it is so good. Easily, like I said, one of, if not my favourite cars that I've driven in this series without any question at all. But there we go, guys. That's the end of the episode. So the Sauber Mercedes C9 goes second on our Hill Climb Monsters leaderboard. Absolutely staggering how fast this car is. But there we go, guys. So thank you everybody so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy this, would like to see more, make sure you drop a like on this video and subscribe. And when you do subscribe, make sure you hit that bell notification so you get updates for all of my new videos whenever they go live. Also leave a comment down below, guys. What is your favorite Group C car? Is it the Sauber Mercedes? Is it the Jaguar? Is it maybe something that isn't in the game like the Mazda or the Peugeot? Let me know in the comments, guys. Always happy to hear from you, as you always know. And before we go, because this is the week of Le Mans, I am going to be doing 3 classic races starting tomorrow. I'll be doing from different eras. I'll be doing the 70s, the 80s and the 90s. So if you want to see that, then make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring that bell notification, as I said there, because that's going to be a lot of fun. And they'll be up on tomorrow, Tuesday, Thursday and on Saturday early afternoon before the race properly kicks off for real. So there we go. But once again, guys, thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay cool, and as always, I will catch you in the next video. Peace.